The week my commission check was supposed to clear, the biggest payday of my life, for the biggest deal in my company's history. My VP called me into a glass conference room, slid a revised compensation plan across the table, and explained, smiling, that they'd be capping my commission, retroactively, on a deal I'd already closed. He told me, and I'll never forget it, nobody's worth that much. Take the cap or take a hike. So I took neither. I took every email they'd ever sent me to a lawyer instead. 6 months later, the company paid me 3 times what they owed in the first place. And the VP who smiled at me was the one cleaning out his desk. But let me start from the beginning. I'll go by Sam. I'm 38, and I sell enterprise software, the big, slow, 7-figure kind, where a single deal can take a year to close and pay like a lottery ticket when it does. I worked for a company I'll call Meridian, and I had one of those reputations. The guy you put on the impossible whale. My compensation was simple and in writing. A base salary plus a commission that was a clean percentage of the deals I closed, no cap. That uncapped part was the whole reason I took the job. Hold on to the words, no cap, and in writing. They're going to do all the heavy lifting. For 18 months, I chased the largest prospect Meridian had ever gone after. A deal so big that landing it would, by our own published commission math, pay me more than our VP of sales made in a year. Which, it turns out, was the actual problem. I landed the whale, signed contract, biggest deal in the company's history, champagne in the sales pit, the CEO shaking my hand for a photo. By the plain terms of my written comp plan, my commission was a number with a lot of zeros, and I'd earned every cent of it over 18 months. Then payday started to slide. First it was, finance is processing it. Then it was, let's grab time to discuss the structure. Then I got the calendar invite to the glass conference room. And I knew my VP, I'll call him Brett, was waiting with HR and a fresh document titled Compensation Plan Update, effective conveniently the month before I closed. It introduced a windfall cap on any single deal. Funny timing, a cap on windfalls, the same month I produced the only windfall the company had ever seen. Brett's pitch was almost impressive in its nerve. The company never anticipated a deal this size. It wouldn't be fair to the team. The number was, frankly, unreasonable for one person. He slid the capped figure across the table, a fraction of what I'd earned, and told me to be grateful, because technically we could pay you nothing and you'd have to sue us, and nobody sues. It's too expensive. Then the line, nobody's worth that much. Take the cap or take a hike. Here's the thing he misread. Brett thought he was looking at a salesman who'd cave because he needed the partial check. What he was actually looking at is a guy who, out of pure habit, keeps every email, every comp plan PDF they ever sent me, every congrats on the close message from leadership, every quota letter, every accelerator memo, the signed plan with no cap right there in black and white. I didn't argue with Brett in that room. I didn't even get angry. I said I'd think about it, and I went home and started organizing a folder. Because he'd just confessed out loud to a plan to not pay me wages I'd already earned, and he had no idea that's what he'd done. Here's what Brett, and apparently Meridian's whole leadership, never understood about the thing they were doing. In most of the country, an earned sales commission isn't a bonus the company can hand out or claw back on a whim. The moment you've done what the plan said you had to do, close the deal, that commission becomes wages. Your wages. And you cannot retroactively change the rules on wages somebody already earned. A company can absolutely set a cap going forward. What it cannot do is invent a cap after the work is done and apply it backward to avoid paying for a deal that's already booked. Doing the work is the trigger. I'd pulled that trigger 18 months before their update existed, and it got so much worse for them because of where the law puts its thumb. In a lot of states, unpaid earned wages don't just have to be paid. They come with penalties, double damages, triple damages, plus interest, plus the employer pays your attorney's fees. That last one is the quiet giant. It means a lawyer will take a case like mine happily because the company foots the legal bill when they lose. Brett's whole bluff, "Nobody sues, it's too expensive," was exactly backwards. The law is built so that it's expensive for the company, not for me. And every defense Brett might raise, I already had the document that killed it. They'd say the deal didn't qualify. I had the signed contract and their own CEO's congratulations email. They'd say the plan always had a cap. I had every prior version of the plan with no cap, in writing sent from their own addresses. They'd changed the plan. I had the new one, conveniently backdated, which is its own kind of evidence. They had spent years building my case for me, one email at a time, and signing every single one. My lawyer's first letter was 3 pages, and most of it was just a list of attachments, their own comp plans, the signed deal, the leadership emails, the backdated update, and a plain calculation of what they owed. Once you added the wage law penalties and the attorney's fees they'd be paying. The number at the bottom wasn't my commission. It was roughly 3 times my commission. Meridian's lawyers took about a week to understand what their own executives had handed me. There's a particular silence that happens when a company realizes the cheaper option was always just to pay the guy. They tried one settlement, lowball. My lawyer resent the treble damages math and the attorney fee statute, and waited. They folded. I was paid my full commission, plus penalties on top, plus every dollar of my legal costs. More than the original check they'd tried so hard to cap. But the part I savor isn't the money. It's Brett. When leadership finally saw the exposure that one VP's clever little backdated cap had turned a large but normal commission into a treble damages wage claim with their name on it, they did the math on who cost them that. Brett had bragged he was protecting the company's margins. What he'd actually done was take a bill they legally owed and triple it, then bolt the company's reputation to a textbook case of wage theft. They didn't restructure his department. They restructured him. He took the hike he'd offered me. And the whale, the biggest client in company history, their relationship was with me, not with Meridian. When I left on my own terms, for a competitor that pays uncapped commissions and puts it in writing, I didn't take a single document or solicit a soul. I didn't have to. People who'd watched how Meridian treated the guy who landed their biggest deal drew their own conclusions. Funny how a company that decides nobody's worth that much ends up being worth a lot less. I keep one thing framed on my desk now, a printout of Brett's compensation plan update, the backdated one. Not the check, the confession. Because the whole time he thought he was rewriting the rules, he was really just signing and dating. The the thing that paid me triple. So tell me, what would you have done? Taken the partial check and the steady paycheck, or bet on the paper trail and gone to war? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe, because next time on the Karma Archive, a landlord kept 30 tenant security deposits and dared every one of them to do something about it. So one of them read the single state law he'd never bothered to and turned his whole building against him.